Kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriritam kalmashapaham Sravanamangalam Srimadatatam Bhuvi Grinanti Ye Buddhidayanaha Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, your gospel is like nectar and bliss showered upon the pain-stricken lives of suffering humanity. It dispels all the sins and misdeeds of life. It brings spiritual welfare in life. The spiritual beauty, prosperity and grace spreads through and through one who listens to your holy message. They are the real givers in the world who preach and pronounce the nectar of message to suffering humanity. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us all. Now we are in the reading of the Gospel, and it is Sunday, October 25, 1885. It is in the Sampukur house where Ramakrishna has come from Dakshineshwar, according to the advice of the doctors, to get better treatment. And also the Calcutta people who are devotees can come and visit very frequently. It is easy not to go to Dakshineshwar, which is a little distant place. So it is then Sunday. Sunday means some more people come, and in the month of October, 25 October. It was about 6:30 in the morning when M arrived at Shampukur and asked Sri Ramakrishna about his health. He was on his way to Dr. Sarkar to report the master's condition. The master said to him, "Tell the doctor that during the early hours of the morning, my mouth becomes filled with water and I cough. Also ask him if I may take a bath." After 7 o'clock, came to Dr. Sarkar's house and told him about the master's condition. The physician's old teacher and one or two friends were in the room. Dr. Sarkar said to the teacher, "Sir, I have been thinking of the Paramahamsa," means the Ramakrishna, "since 3 in the morning. I could not sleep at all. Even now he is in my mind." Quote ends. One day, doctor's friend said to him, "Sir, I hear that some speak of the Paramahamsa as an incarnation of God. You see him every day. How do you feel about it?" Doctor: "I have the greatest regard for him as man." M, talking to the doctor's friend, "It is very kind of Dr. Sarkar to treat him." Dr. Sarkar: "Kindness? What do you mean?" M, "Not towards him, but towards us." Doctor: "You see, you don't know my actual loss on account of Paramahamsa. Every day I fail to see 2 or 3 patients. When the next day I go to their houses of my own accord, I cannot accept any fee since I am seeing them without being called. How can I charge them for my visit?" The conversation turned to Mahima Chakravarti. He had been with the master when Dr. Sarkar had visited him the previous Saturday. Pointing to the doctor, Mahima had said to Ramakrishna, "Sir, you yourself have created this disease in order to pamper the doctor's pride." M said to the doctor, "Mahima Chakraborty used to come to your place to attend your lecture on medical science." Doctor, "Oh, is that so? How full of tamas he is. Didn't you notice it? I saluted him as God's lower third. There exists in God sattva, rajas and tamas. Tamas is the third and the inferior quality. Didn't you hear him say to the Paramahansa, quote, 'You yourself have created this disease in order to pamper the doctor's pride'?" M. Mahima Chakraborty believes that Paramahansa can cure his disease himself if he wants to. Doctor, what? Cure the disease himself? Is that possible? We are physicians. We know what cancer is. We ourselves cannot cure it, and he too can cure himself. Why? He does not know anything about the cancer. Why? He does not know anything about cancer. The illness is no doubt incurable, but these gentlemen have been nursing him with sincere devotion. M. requested the doctor to visit Sri Ramakrishna and return home. So this is one part of the description. That Sunday we find that M lived very close to Sampukur, not too far away. So he came in the early morning, getting up around 6. It is reported they must 6 o'clock in the morning, around 6 o'clock in the early morning, and to inquire about Ramakrishna's health condition and to report it to Dr. Sarkar. He was a big doctor, so, and he was, he can come only on request and visit. So Master said to him about his ailment, "Tell me that I was feeling water in my throat and I was coughing in the morning, and ask him whether I can take it." Now, about 7 o'clock, 1 hour, within an hour, 6 to 7, AM then came to Dr. Sarkar's home and told about the condition, etc. And naturally the discussion started. Dr. Sarkar said, "Sir, I have been thinking of Paramahansa since 3 in the morning." That means this is the beauty of incarnation. We think they have such attraction that our mind is drawn by him. That's why it is called, some people say, Krishna. Bhagavan Krishna means who attracts our mind. Karshati iti Krishna. Karshati means pulling everyone's attention. So, Ramakrishna is par excellent attraction for the devotees. That means even people don't understand who is he, what greatness he belongs to. But in the presence, he is getting charmed at the presence. So, you are sitting to avoid my seeing, Move in a way I can see you. What is the meaning of sitting and avoiding me? Sit in the corner. Yeah. So, and see the intensity of the impact. Dr. Sarkar came in to treat Ramakrishna as a patient, and he's a scientist. He does not believe that he has the power. God can cure everything. So Ramakrishna, if he wills, if you call he is God incarnate, so what is beyond his power? But he does not want to put that mind, he said, what I have given to God, I cannot put this filthy body. So that's the way. But he respects him in such a way, he does not believe him, his incarnation, his God, his divine, not necessarily. He's a good man, very perfected man, full of love, full of some great qualities. With this type of feeling, he loves Ramakrishna. But Ramakrishna has entered into his mind in such a way, see that? At 3 o'clock, he's wake up. And what he's thinking? Thinking of Ramakrishna, Paramahamsa. Wow, how is he? Is he keeping well? Thinking of him, see how difficult we can think of Ramakrishna, no? But he's a blessed person who unconsciously, the impulse of the impact of the vision or the visits to Ramakrishna, thinking of Ramakrishna unconsciously. So I have been thinking of Paramahamsa since 3 in the morning. I could not sleep at all. See, thinking of Ramakrishna, no sleep, sleepless. And he said that now he is in my mind, even now I am thinking of him. Then the doctor's friend says that here I hear someone speak. That is a common question. You go to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, so everyone says that he's an incarnation. You saw him, what do you feel? And with that response, doctor said, I have greatest regard for him as man. That's why it is said you like Ramakrishna in whatever way. As a human being, a perfected human being, or as a yogi, or as a great illumined soul, whatever way you do, you get the benefit. It is like taking a candy, sweet candy in your mouth. You taste it under the tongue or over the tongue or on the right side or left side. Taste will come ultimately. Its impact will be undeniable. So that is the idea that I have the greatest regard. I don't think that he is God, or I cannot say that. I cannot say his incarnation, but I have greatest regard as a human being. That's also to be understood. Human life is a perfection, and the greatest perfection is manifested as a human personality, perfected person. And then he is talking about that it is very kind of Dr. Sarkar to treat him. And he is thanking Dr. Master Mosai, is thanking because Ramakrishna in their heart, he is not participating into this debate, whether he is a man, he is a God, or he is incarnation, or he is a holy man. No discussions, he didn't enter into it, but he just escaped. And then he's talking about Mahimacharan. Dr. Sarkar got a little annoyed. And Mahima Sarkar said, Ramakrishna has the power. He can cure himself. Then doctor's pride. What? He is a fool. Otherwise, how he will say? We doctors cannot cure, and Ramakrishna himself, he does not know about cancer word also, no. Only he can utter, but how? It's like that. It is the inner meaning is that he is such a ordinary person, didn't go to school even to learn something, and he will cure the cancer. He does not know ABCD of cancer, and he will cure it. He is thinking from a materialistic perspective, but does not understand the matter is nothing to the consciousness. Everything is manifestation of that consciousness, no? Now anyway, but it is, then this beauty is that Mahima Chakravarti was a great Sanskrit Pandit, and he has his faith that he is God himself, and we see contradictory person, is a Western mind, Eastern. This is a mixture. Ramakrishna is a perfect blending of East and West. The Eastern responsibility, thinking of any holy man, and they see some extraordinary glory. Pandits can understand scholarly things they have read in the Upanishad, Gita, etc. They can match with Ramakrishna's life. They can understand he is an incarnation. But Western man, no, he is an ordinary man. Christ was a man. Why are you putting him to, why are you making his brain disturbed by saying that he is a God? No? But tell him he is a good man. That's all. So this is always the contradiction goes on with the boast, because we are very much aware of our Western knowledge of science and this and that, and he is an illiterate man. So to understand incarnation is very difficult anyway. But this is the point, that one looks at from the Western perspective, another from the Eastern perspective. He's a good man. We respect him. We really love him. When I go, I feel satisfied talking to him. So I respect him that way. But don't put him to the high pedestal of his incarnation, his God. This is not necessary. Anyhow, now this was the morning episode. Now it is again, aim has come back. And then in the afternoon, about 3 o'clock, aim came to the master and repeated the conversation, what he has in the morning with Dr. Sarkare. He said to Ramakrishna, today the doctor embarrassed me. Master, what happened? Aim said, yesterday he heard here that you yourself had created this illness in order to pamper the doctor's pride. The doctor will cure me, no? Is God himself is asking some doctor, who is the doctor of the whole world, he is asking a medical professional to cure my cancer, no? So this discussion came yesterday. He heard that you yourself had created this illness in order to pamper the doctor's pride. Master, who made that remark? Mahima Chakravarti. Master, what did the doctor say to you? He described Mahima Chatterjee's Chakravarti as God's lower third. Why the lower third? Now he admits that all the qualities, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, exist in God. The master laughs. Then he told me that he had waked at 3 in the morning and had been thinking of you ever since. When I saw him, it was 8 o'clock. He said to me, even now Paramahansa is in my mind. So Master then Sri Ramakrishna laughingly said, you see, he has studied English. I cannot ask him to meditate on me, but he is doing it all the same of his own record. He's saying that I do not know English and he's an Englishman. Englishman means, in those days that was a common term. Englishman means those who speak English language, the language of the king, or the language of the ruler's language. So Sri Ramakrishna says, you see, he has studied English. I cannot ask him, because he's an Englishman, he's a highly educated people. So I cannot ask him, you meditate on me. But he is doing it all the same of his own accord. So it is his greatness or his purity of the heart. He also said about you, I have the greatest regard for him as man. Master, did you talk of anything else? I asked him, what is your suggestion today about your patient? He said, suggestion? Hang it. I shall have to go to him again myself. What else shall I suggest? Sri Ramakrishna laughed. Further he said, you don't know how much money I am losing every day. Every day I miss 2 or 3 such calls. Because when he comes to Ramakrishna, a doctor coming, in early days, I do not know, in this country, was that the same habit? That doctor is called to home, doctor visit the home.
Not anymore, they don't.
No, earlier days probably. So in India that is very common, that the doctors will come to home, and hospitals were not that many. So when they come and give prescription, and they again that is to be reported to him. If he feels, he will come. Or if the patient goes to his office, that's it. But here he's saying that what suggestion you are giving to the patient? He says that Suggestion, hang it. I shall have to go to him again. That means I am forced to go. I'll have to see him. Mere suggestion will not do. I'll have to go. That means he is already feeling so much drawn into the personality of Sri Ramakrishna. What else shall I suggest then? And also he said he is losing money. Because when it comes to Ramakrishna, he forgets his time. Normally visit is for just quickly to check on the pulse and this and that, in early days style, stethoscope and pulse and this and that. And then they will prescribe, okay, this medicine, okay, change this medicine and go. Within 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But when he comes, that seeing the patient becomes secondary. And major thing becomes they get involved into discussion, and Ramakrishna goes on talking, and he loses his time is lost, and he has to go to the next patient and the next patient. So when you don't go, then you lose that patient and that money. He was a very famous doctor at that time and scientist. So he lost very good amount of money every day. That's why he said, how much money I am losing every day. Every day I miss 2 or 3 calls. Anyhow, there are many devotees, including Narendra in the room. Vijay Krishna Goswami arrived. He is the Brahmo leader. And he respectfully took the dust of the master's feet. These are great people of that time. Vijay Krishna Goswami and others. Naren, of course, is a different thing. But these are great people of that time, very powerful people in the society. So they came and took the dust of Ramakrishna and sat. Several Brahmo devotees also came with Vijay. Vijay had cut off his connection with the Brahmo Samaj earlier and was practicing spiritual discipline independently. Sri Ramakrishna was very fond of him on account of his piety and devotion. Though not a disciple of the master, Vijay held him in very high respect. He had lived in Dhaka a long time. Recently, he had visited many sacred places in Upper India. A hymn means it is talking about the Vijay Goswami, who is the ex-Brahmo leader. Mahima Chakravarti, again to Vijay. Sir, you have visited many holy places and new countries. Please tell us some of your experience. So Vijay then responds, what shall I say? I realize that everything is here. Where is here means? Where we are sitting now. It's a very great statement for a scholar to say. He's a great scholar, philosopher, and he has gone all over India and visiting all the holy places and holy sadhus, and he comes back and he is sitting at the feet of Ramakrishna and he is saying, when asked, tell about your experience of your pilgrimage, then he is openly describing that, what shall I say? I realize that everything is here where you are sitting now. This roaming about is useless. At other places, I have seen 2, 5, 10, or 20% of him. Him means the master, Sri Ramakrishna. At the most, here alone I find the full 100% manifestation of God. You say, who can say this? It is not a statement of any ordinary person. When a person who is practicing spiritual discipline and highly respected for his spiritual life, when he actually experienced this after seeing so many holy people, sadhus and others, he is saying, everywhere I went, I found God is manifested more. What is the difference between we and the holy people? Their holiness is godliness manifested. So he said, everywhere I visited, it may be little manifestation, somewhere maybe 5%, somewhere maybe 10%, Somehow only 25% of him means of Ramakrishna. As we see the manifestation of spirituality in Ramakrishna, only little percentage. No one comes close to that. 5%, 10%, 20%, 25%. It is the statement of that Vijay Krishna Goswami. And here is the full manifestation. Mahima, you are right, sir. Again, it is he, the master, who make us roam about or remain in one place. Master to Narendra, see what a change has come over Vijay's mind. He is an altogether different person now. He is like thick milk, which all the water has been boiled off. You see, I can recognize a Paramahansa by his neck and forehead. Yes, I can recognize a Paramahansa. Ramakrishna is saying, this is the Ramakrishna statement. He is talking to Naren that look at the change. This Vijay Goswami, this great ex-Brahmo leader, has changed his life. He came in contact with Ramakrishna and his life has been changed to go more inward. You know, we normally put them in our youthful energy, we think that we will change the whole world. No? I will write a book and convert the whole world. And the world is not so small. As the youth goes on, then you say, oh my God, what to teach others? I am to teach myself now. So Vijay Krishna Goswami understood, coming in touch with that, you cannot do anything unless you change here. And he went to pilgrimage and holy people and sadhana, engaged in spiritual practice, coming in touch with Ramakrishna. And transformation is noticed. Ramakrishna is appreciating that, saying, look at this change. And then he said, he has become like a thick, or he is like a thick milk from which all water has been boiled up. What is the water? Water of worldliness, water of craving for the external, impermanent objects. No? So that has all gone. It's becoming thick milk, means concentrated, and concentrated, pure, and becoming spirituality. And he said, Ramakrishna says that I can understand, you see, I can recognize a Paramahansa by his neck and forehead. He's not, yes, I can recognize. Ramakrishna twice he said, I can recognize the Paramahansa. Probably he is indicating that this Vijay is going into the stage of higher, close to Paramahansa state. Mahima to Vijay, sir, you seem to eat less now. Is not that so? Vijay, perhaps you are right. To the master, I heard about your illness and have come to see you again in Dhaka. What about Dhaka? Vijay did not reply and was silent a few moments. Then Vijay started saying, it is difficult to understand him, meaning the master, unless he reveals himself. He alone is the 100% manifestation of God. Again he is saying, Ramakrishna is the 100% manifestation of God. He had a vision of Ramakrishna in Dhaka. That's why it is, so Vijay said, perhaps you are right. And to the master he said, I heard about your illness and have come to see you. Again in Dhaka, and Das. Das means we know that afterwards that he had the vision of Sri Ramakrishna. He felt his living presence in Dhaka. That's why Vijay says it's difficult to understand the master. Unless he reveals himself, he alone is the 100% manifestation of God. Master. Kedar said the other day, at other places we don't get anything to eat, but here we get stomach full. That means in other places you go with spiritual hunger, your hunger is not satisfied. Kedar is saying that if we come to Ramakrishna, then our spiritual hunger is satiated. We are full. That means a sumptuous meal of spirituality is being always unconsciously distributed by Ramakrishna. These readings gives us little understanding, no? To understand God is so difficult. But these people are well-placed people in the society, highly respected people, well-educated, philosopher-like people, the leader of the society. They are not ordinary people, but how they come to Sri Ramakrishna and recognize the glory of Ramakrishna in that high esteem. Master Mahima, why stomach full? It overflows the stomach. Vijay to the Master with folded hands. I have now realized who you are. You don't have to tell me. Master in a state of ecstasy. If so, then so be it. This very deep emotional flavor is here. Says Vijay is understanding so much and seeing Ramakrishna in his front, in presence. He said, I have understood. You need not have to say who you are, but I understand. I have now realized who you are. You don't have to tell me. And listening this, Ramakrishna went into ecstasy. In a state of ecstasy, he said, if so, that means if that is your faith, then be it so. Saying, yes, I have understood, Vijay fell prostrated before the Master. He held the Master's feet on his chest and clung to them. And the Master was in a deep samadhi, motionless as picture. The devotees were overwhelmed by the sight. Some burst into tears. Some chanted sacred hymns. All eyes were riveted on Sri Ramakrishna. They viewed him in different ways according to their spiritual unfoldment. Some as a great devotee, some as a holy man, some as God incarnate. Mahimacharan sang with tears in his eyes, behold, behold, the embodiment of love divine. Now and then he chanted as if enjoying a glimpse of Brahman, the transcendental beyond the one and the many, existence, knowledge, bliss absolute. And then another devotee, Navagopal, was weeping. Bhupati then sang the song, hallowed be Brahman, the absolute, the infinite, the fathomless, higher than the highest, deeper than the deepest depth. Thou art the light of truth, the fountain of love, the home of bliss. This universe with all its manifestation and blessed modes is but the enchanting poem of thine inexhaustible thoughts. Its beauty overflows on every side. O thou poet, great and primal, in the rhythm of thy thought, the sun and moon arise and move towards the setting. The stars shining like bits of gems are the fair characters in which thy song is written across the blue expanse of sky. This is a poem, or a translation maybe of some verse. In Bengali, if we consider, then it will get much better idea. And then Bhupati sang again. It was a song he is singing again. Upon the sea of blissful awareness, waves of ecstatic love arise. Rapture divine, play of God's bliss. Oh, how enthralling. And he sang the third song. Here vanish my fear and my delusion, my piety, ritual and good works. Here vanished my pride of race and caste. Where am I? Where am I? Where art thou, O Hari? Thou hast stolen my life and soul. And now, O friend, thou do desert me? Ah, what a fool I was to come here to the shore of the sea of love. Full to the brim with heavenly bliss is filled this little soul of mine. Premadasus say, hearken, one and all, this in truth is the way to reach God. After a long time, Sri Ramakrishna regained consciousness of the world. It's a beautiful atmosphere, you can imagine, no? How beautiful is that? Sri Ramakrishna went into ecstasy only when Vijay Krishna Goswami said that I have now realized who you are. You don't have to tell me anything. And hearing that, it was ignited in his mind who he is really. And as soon as it happened, then he uttered the word, if so, then so it be. And saying so, then Vijay prostrated at the feet of Ramakrishna and held the master's feet on his chest and then clung to them. And then master was in deep samadhi. He was motionless as a picture. We can imagine this is the picture. The Vijay holding the feet of Ramakrishna in his chest and Sri Ramakrishna going into ecstasy. And in the deep samadhi, and he's becoming really motionless, like a picture. No breath, no blinking of the eyes, totally out of the body, gone quickly into the state of samadhi, absolute joy. And the devotees were overwhelmed by that sight, and seeing that according to their mental condition, as is the purity of the heart, they responded to this environmental condition. Some burst into tears. Some started chanting sacred hymns, prayers. All eyes were riveted at Ramakrishna. And then some viewed them different ways, according to a spiritual unfoldment, some as great devotee, some as a holy man, some as a God incarnate. And by that time, some of the devotee, Mahimacharan himself, started chanting these verses and singing the songs. Bhupati sang the song, Mahimacharan sang with tears this verse of Sanskrit, and this is 2 songs, and the 3rd song also. And then, after a long time, the song was sung. That means maybe 3 songs, chants. It took long time. Sri Ramakrishna regained consciousness of the world. Then Master is talking to him. Something happens to me in that state of intoxication. Now I feel ashamed of myself. In that state I feel as if I were possessed by a ghost. I cease to be my own self. While coming down from that state, I cannot count correctly. Trying to count, I say 1, 7, 8, or some such things. He's describing his mental condition. When he goes into samadhi, then what happens? Something happens, he says, which is not my control. I cannot control myself. That means that is the point when spiritual awakening comes for ordinary people, they have no control. But Sri Ramakrishna, it is happening every day. How many times, God knows. That is why he is incarnation. What is the difference between ordinary Brahmagyani and Ramakrishna? That is they can go into that consciousness, they can go to anywhere in the spiritual realm at any moment. But ordinary sadhakas can go once. That's enough for lifetime. If 2 times, that's great. 3 times means, my God. So it is also, we find that only we find references in life of Swami Vivekananda going to Nirvikalpa Samadhi several times. But Ramakrishna every day turn the pages of Gospel, it is going every time. So that is a unique phenomena in the spiritual history of humanity. And he says, when I go in that state of intoxication, I am helpless. I feel ashamed why I behave, why I put my leg on someone's chest or this and that. He is a very humble person, no? But he does that. Sometimes to awaken the consciousness in that spiritual mood, touching someone's with the finger, with that, or with the toe, or anything he at that mood, what he does. But he said, I do not know. I don't do anything. Someone like a ghost possessed me, and I do according to the design of the spiritual, that higher spiritual power. That means in a state I feel as if I were possessed by a ghost. I cease to be my own self. While coming down from that state, I cannot count correctly, meaning I cannot recognize the world and I forget the rules of the world. That's why he said, I count like 1, and then instead of doing 2, I go to 7, I say 8, like that. That means not consistent to the world of reality in which we live. Narendra, it is because everything is one. He's explaining, because you come from that level where there is no two. So how can you come into the world of duality to separate out 5 for 7, 1 for 2 and 3, 4, all this sequence? It becomes irrelevant. That's why it is because everything is one. Master, no, it is beyond 1 and 2. Ramakrishna is correcting this. See, because it is 1, if you say 1, there will be doubt. But he is correcting, Ramakrishna is correcting Narendra, saying, no, 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 it is not 1. It is beyond 1 and or 2. If you say 1, there is 2. Concept is there. But he is coming from that plane where there is neither 1, neither 2. Ekamevo advayang brahmo neho nana asti kinchana. In the Upanishad it says, Ekam eva, only one. Ekam eva advayam, not 2. This is the way, positive and negative way. If you say 1, naturally you may think there are 2. A 2 means 1. No, it is neither 1, not 2, advayam. And that is Brahman. And in that Brahman, na iho, in this Brahman, nana, many, varieties, multiplicity is not there. Nana osti kinchana. Mahima, yes, yes, you are right. It is neither 1, not 2. Master, their reason withers away. All your logic, all your philosophy melts into oneness, into something which is indescribable. That's why the reason withers away. God cannot be realized through scholarship. He's talking to Mahima and other Pandits are there, scholars are there. We are all proud of our intellectual ability to understand, no? The whole world appreciates whom? Who have an intellectual expression, no? Because that is the highest expression we can think about. But it is beyond intellect. This intellect only creates confusion. But intellect should be practiced. We should sharpen our intellect by going through it, but to understand that you have to transcend that. Someone gets into a school to get grade or whatever, but to come out of the school. We don't enter into the school to live their whole life. So this is the point, to go through this, but go beyond. Freedom. He's beyond scriptures, the Vedas, Puranas and Tantras. If I see a man with even one book in his hand, I call him a Rajarsi. Rajarsi means a rishi or seer who appears with the outer splendor like a king. No? He's a pandit with a book is coming. I think he is like a king among these scholars. Though he is a Jnani, but the Brahmarsi has no outer sign whatsoever. That means Jnanis keep those skills of quoting verses, this Upanishad, that Upanishad, this Gita, as we are all in the lower category, we do every day. Always quoting 6.5 Gita, 10.5 Matthew, John. We quote. We are quote master. And if you don't quote, then the society will not accept it. Where is your authority? They will doubt the authority. But these are all, in the relative world, those are good. But in this realm where Ramakrishna is talking about, their Matthew quote, this, that will not do. It is only realization will be the prominent thing. So there is no question of intellectual understanding or finding such reference of things. So they are no book. Rajarsi and Brahmarsi, they are Brahmarishi. The rishi, the sage, with Brahma Jnana as it were, so they don't keep any book. Paramahamsas don't keep any book. We have seen, before us we saw Swami Bhuteshananda Maharaj, no? He's a great scholar. How many scriptures he has read. But at the maturity state or when he was the president, and we found that reading books is an extraordinary extra thing. But everything in his mouth, everything is inside. His absorption has gone so deep, it has been reflected in their life. So do you know the use of the scriptures? That means we must have to read the scriptures. Why? To collect some information. And then what to act upon the information. We are searching for God, we go to scripture. Why? Scripture are the expression of the experience of the sages, and they direct us, do this, do that, do that, do that, do that. And you keep keeping the book in your hand and not practicing anything. Will that make anyone successful in life or enjoy the spirit of it? No. So do you know the use of the scriptures? Then comes to a story. A man once wrote a letter to a relative asking him to send 5 shares of sweetmeats and a piece of cloth. The relative received the letter, read it, and remembered about the sweetmeats and the cloth. Then he threw the letter away. Of what further use was it? You know what to do. Guru gives us mantra. If you keep it in the closet, okay, it's very sacred. So let me pack it, keep it in the altar, and let it be there. Most of the people, it is easier thing to do that. So putting there, and you offer flower and this and that. But don't say the Granth Sahib. Granth Sahib is the greatest example. But they do with devotion. That's why they get the benefit. In the Sikh religion, the book is treated as the Guru itself. Because book gives us the knowledge. We are reading this book, it is giving us the knowledge. So they worship the book as Guru himself. Living presence of Guru. You go to any Gurudwara, go one day to taste it. You will see they are fanning the scripture, nicely packed and rolled with velvet cloth and nice and everything soft and like your Guru. You are giving him a soft seat and this cover with and best thing, and then someone is fanning and someone is chanting as he prays Wow, Guruji ke pate. And that they start practicing. But if they do not know the content, what is in the Granth Sahib, the book, and only doing that, if the devotion is there, of course they will gain up to some certain point, but they will not gain. Who will gain more? If you take the teachings of the Granth Sahib and then apply it into your life. Let your book, your life be your Granth Sahib. So let your life be scripture. And you look at your life, people will say, wow, he has read the Upanishad. Let Upanishad manifest through the life. Let Gita manifest through the life. So that is the point Sri Ramakrishna is indicating.
There are many questions.
Okay, now let me finish first. So, it says that then what is the need of Nana? He throws away the letter further. And main thing will be God, that's it, then he threw away the letter. And then Master said, God incarnates himself on earth in a human body. You see, he's affirming so much confusion. Can God come down, this, that? Ramakrishna says, yes, God comes down in human form. In his own language, they are fighting. AM is supporting this idea, Dr. Sarkar is objecting to that idea, many other people are not comfortable with this thought. Even many people in this country, why I shall salute, why I shall bend my head down to another man? He is like us. But there is a question that not man looks outside, but the expression to them is only the divine expression. He is no doubt present everywhere and in all beings, but man's longing is not satisfied unless he sees God in a human form. Man's need is not satisfied without the divine incarnation. Do you know what it is like? By touching any part of a cow, you undoubtedly touch the whole cow. Even by touching her horns, you touch the cow, but the milk comes through the cow's udder. It's a very beautiful example he has given. The whole world is filled with God. Okay, maybe. So you are touching this, you are touching God, but you don't feel that way. But when you see an incarnation, it is like the udder of the cow, where the milk essence of this entire cow existence comes. The juice, the joy, the bliss, the peace, the contentment, the absolute satisfaction. That is true only. That ardor is incarnation. Ramakrishna is that ardor. Everywhere, but its entire cow is meant for the cow means milk. And milk comes through that means in torrents. The God's manifestation of purity, love, joy, blessings comes unconditionally. Christ, Buddhas, Ramas, Krishnas, they are like that. Sri Ramakrishna's own examples are very beautiful examples, simple example. We ordinary people, we can understand if it's philosophically, they will give a big example which it will not enter into our brain. But it is such a simple example, anyone, a highly educated to the most ordinary person can understand its in impact. So touching any part of the cow, you undoubtedly, but the cow milk comes through the udder, Mahima. If a man wants milk, he must put his mouth to the udder. What will he get by sucking the horns? Vijay. But a calf at his first licks other parts of the cow. Master smiling. True. But seeing the calf doing so, someone perhaps puts his mouth to the udder. If someone is seeking for God, it's an indication. The calf is actually searching for milk, no? But he is now hitting here and there and searching for we, as an ordinary person, searching for God, we go here and here and here and here. Huh? And then I am searching for where shall I get a good teacher? Where shall I get the right type of spirituality? No? Then comes someone, means your spiritual teacher will come in your life, Guru will come, and he puts your mouth into the udder. Connects you with the incarnation. So that's why it is called very difficult to have love for Ramakrishna as incarnation. He's the udder through which the spirituality flows. But we are searching for that everywhere. As he gave, if someone licks the horn of the cow, will he get the milk? No, but he's touching the cow. We can go to many places. But to come to incarnation in life is an unbelievable experience, and it's a great fortune, because you are come to the order. Guru has connected you. Push your head, move mouth to the order, and now again we come down. That's our own thing. But if you once get a taste of little bit of that peace and joy inside, then automatically it will go more and more and more. So this is a wonderful example what Sri Ramakrishna gave. We should remember it. Sometimes I say that it's a great fortune to be born in the culture of Sri Ramakrishna, not as a fanatic. I am a fan of Ramakrishna because I am a member of Ramakrishna order. You may think that, but it is not. Fact is that in spiritual realm, such a manifestation of purity, such a manifestation of truth, absolute absorption in God, rarely happen in the history. That's why it's called Avataro Borishta. Avataro, among them, Borishta means it is the greatest manifestation. Borishta means does not one is lower, one is higher. Not that sense. It is the only torrential flow of spirituality. There is nothing but in the whole gospel. You don't find anything. You go to Rama's life, there are other fighting attitude, this, that is going on. But in Ramakrishna's life, you don't find any other conflict. Any other episode is not there. From childhood, cranes are flying in the sky and the child gets samadhi. And the whole village people thought, oh, he has got to, ghost has taken possession. In village, ordinary people think anything happens, oh, he has lost his consciousness, some ghost has entered into him. No? So this mindset, from this childhood and his whole life, there is nothing but God, 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 God. But it is there in every incarnation. But this is in that sense, it is the greatest incarnation, highest incarnation. Absolute incarnation means the greatest manifestation of God. As just we read today, is a very good chapter. If you read it yourself, this is page 881, 82, 83. You will find it should be read to convince ourselves what we are thinking of, who Ramakrishna is, and what is this real meaning of coming to Ramakrishna. It is God is everywhere. And what is the speciality? Speciality is there only truth and truth and truth. Only God and God and God. Anything minus, there is no place in Ramakrishna. So this is we can learn, that is reading the scripture, reading the gospel, we can take this idea today in our mind. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Now we'll have some questions. Tomorrow is Thursday, Bhakti Yoga class. Sumanashananda Swami, Bhakti Yoga class. Please tell us the right way of reading Sahasranam of Shiva, Vishnu, etc. After finishing reading, should we take up one or two verses and contemplate on it? That's a good idea. And how to read the Sahasranam Stotra of Shiva, Vishnu, etc. We should do when you chant. If you are chanting Sanskrit, you should learn to have the proper pronunciation. Sometimes we make mistakes in our pronunciation, that in Sanskrit meaning changes by that. If you prolong vowel, if you make it short vowel, then meaning will be opposite. Negative becomes positive, positive becomes negative. So it should be when first to hear the good chanters, those who are chanting. You can listen to Swami Sarvadevananda, who is a good chanter. His chanting is there available in the YouTube probably. There are many YouTubes. Or whoever is a perfect chanter, how they pronounce Ishavashyam idagam sarvai, long, short, and we chant every morning also. So perfect chanting should be that all those pronunciations should be perfect, and then it brings the right type of meaning. So it is to be learned from them. And after reading, yes, of course, you can meditate on any of the verses which appeals to your heart, which inspires you. It may be different for different person. There may be so many verses. In one place you may be very much intrigued into it, and you can enjoy more. Read that, contemplate on those verses, and find inner joy of it. What are some manifestation of tamas and rajas in Ramakrishna and Holy Mother? Rajas, there is no tamas and rajas in them. In them is sattva quality is the dominant quality. In us, tamas, rajas, with little sattva. Tamas is more, rajas is more. I have done this, I go that, I do. Oh, I am lazy, I cannot do this, it is mine. So, see, tamas quality, rajas quality, but we have sattva quality also little. We meditate, we read some book, we sometimes sing some holy bhajan. So, sattva is there. But Ramakrishna, sattva is mother, sattva is 99.9%. And 0.1% may be divided between tamas and rajas. It is called sattva over, what is the term? Sattva overwhelming the tamas and rajas, sattva is manifesting there most. That is the Ramakrishna's condition. Should we meditate on the other two pictures of the Master also? Yes, Ramakrishna means, any picture we like, because all the pictures are Samadhi pictures. Almost. Ramakrishna's mood is in God. There is nothing but God. But deeply intoxicated in the meditation posture. And meditation posture has its own value, because he himself, before he left the body in Kashipur garden house, he took that photo himself and saluted himself and offered some flower himself. And not only that, he said, in future, this will be worshipped in every home. That was Ramakrishna's own words. This will be it will be worshipped in every... No? What is the exact word? Agdin. Sometime it is coming in future. Agdin means it is coming that this picture will be... He didn't say picture. This. Picture means photo. But this means this. This means this. You can explain. We can give a long discussion on what is meant by this. This representation of Satchidananda will be worshipped in every home. That's why it is most but that wonderful picture when Ramakrishna's one hand is up, another in the like this, and the face beaming with a bursting peace and joy, no? That is wonderful to meditate. Another is there standing on a standing posture with a cloth hanging like that. So whatever, yes, anything is the same. But more, wherever your mind gets... artists, they create their imagination, and even think differently. Sri Ramakrishna doing this, like ordinary man sitting in a chair. That you can imagine in your mental world, you can think about that. Last question. What is exactly meant by statement that God is present in everybody's heart as the Antarjami, inner controller? Yeah. So we think that we are controlled by whom? I am thinking, I am going. We are thinking like that, I. But this I is, behind the I is the Anta Jaman. Anta means inside, Yama means control. There is somebody who is controlling my I behind. That means there is some consciousness behind. That we call in sweet name, we call our chosen ideal, Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, or you can say Krishna, Rama, Buddha, Christ, whatever, is the indweller. So that is the indweller, Antarjamin, and he is the eternal witness. In Vedantic terminology, we can say it is the eternal witness, and Bhakti terminology, we can say, my beloved Lord, God. And another question. The intellect, as we understand, to be learned in only worldly education, is it a true characterization of the word as opposed to scriptural definition? Intellect is intellect. Intellect means buddhi, which actually, so Swamiji says, it is the mind, another aspect of the mind, that is called buddhi. Determinative faculty of the mind is called buddhi. Mind determines, that is the faculty called buddhi. But our buddhi is scattered in so many ways. When mind is concentrated, what happens? Like a flashlight, when you make it focused, and then you turn in any direction, you want to see what is in this corner, you can see in a dark room, you enter, and you can see everywhere. So mind, when mind means in Western language mind, that is the buddhi. The buddhi, what Sanskrit say, it is in Western language, we normally mean by mind. We say mind is here, but Indian mind says here. So that mind here is the way we understand, we come into firm conclusion. This is a book. Who says? Something shape is there. We say it is the Gospel of Ramakrishna. There is an image in my mind, album, and like Google engine. When it goes, its search engine quickly brings it. And then it matches with this and said, oh, this is God. This is the Gospel of Rama. I have seen this book before, and now it is the image of that book. So that is the way secular knowledge and spiritual knowledge will be also that. It starts from the outside. We are meditating on this image, in this what is called the symbol, or symbol or symbology, whatever we are meditating, and thinking of that mind is getting into one and creating an image inside. So that will lead us to go further. So it is the same, I think. Is it a true characterization of the word as opposed to spirit? No, it is not the same. M. Vidyasagar, Bankim Chandra and others so-called leading intellectuals of the day came out as very crooked individuals to Thakur in their first meetings. No, I won't say they are crooked. They think, Ramakrishna said, thinking of God is the straight path. If you don't think of God and think of any other thing, that is crooked, you can explain that way. We are all focused in the God, and this Bankim, Vidyasagar, and him who we are talking about, they are very highly educated person in the society. So they are respected people, but their focus was on external knowledge of science or philosophy or medical science, whatever is their subject. But it was not for God. So in that sense, Sri Ramakrishna discards that. the education which does not give you freedom, rather creates a bondage for you. So that's a bondage. Is not then the worldly definition of intellect a complete mischaracterization? You can think that way, but I think that it can be understood in mind when purified. The same mind, concentrated mind, when directed towards God, then it will reveal the inner truth which is within. So the intellect is not too sharp intellect, only we have to redirect it. Well, that intellect which is making a scientist to bring out the secrets of the material world, the same mind, they're like yogis, but the subject is the worldly subject. Subject of physics, subject of chemistry, subject of astronomy. So, but the same mind, they're absorbed totally. But that is only on the material side. But if they penetrate little deeper, then it will be the spiritual. So intellect is different in that sense. One is focused for the objects which are mundane, because it is unreal, it will change. But when that focus goes for God, which is eternal, then it is called the spiritual wisdom or spiritual intellect. But intellect is the same, power is the same. Swami Vivekananda said that we have the greatest capacity in us. The nature is ever ready to express its all the secrets, only if we know how to control our mind, our intellect. Okay, thank you all for joining. And tomorrow Swami Sumanashananda will be giving the Bhakti Yoga class. And we end. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Maharaj, what is the